everyone, it's me, Lindsay, with Equip Me OT, here today to talk about some tips for preparing you for back surgery. This is going to be focused on thoracic and lumbar surgeries, as cervical surgery needs its own video. So let's start by talking about the car. When you get in and out of the car, every time you get in and out of the car, whether it's right after surgery or for the first several weeks following, you're going to have to follow the precautions of no bending, lifting, or twisting in most scenarios. So that is going to produce a few challenges. My first tip is take advantage of the helpers that you have available to you. You will not be driving yourself places until you are free of your bracing and have been released from your surgeon. So you will have a second set of hands available to help you with two things that can often be problematic with the no twisting rule. That is closing your door once you get into the car and putting on and taking off your seatbelt. So make sure that you have somebody present and available to help you with that process because it will be problematic and cause twisting. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is be prepared with something to reduce the friction on the seat. So this is something I recommend for all surgical recoveries to simplify your life. You can use something that was specifically designed for that task like this. This is called a tubular draw sheet and can be placed on any surface to help with reducing friction. And or you can simply use a garbage bag. I keep one in my glove box at all times just to assist with that transfer method. So let me quick show you how it works. You're just going to put that onto the seat. What this is going to do is it's going to prevent you from accidentally twisting because your backside gets caught up on the seat material. So I'm going to turn here and I'm going to reach back for the seat, make sure I know where I'm going, and I'm going to push myself up onto that surface that is now really slippery, and I'm going to slide in, keeping my knees, hips, and shoulders aligned, and then I'm going to pivot. That was within the guidelines of a no twisting cervical or thoracic or lumbar surgical recovery. All right, so the next set of tips are going to come to you from the bathroom. This is really important because toileting after back surgery can be really challenging and kind of frustrating. So first things first, you want to add height to the toilet. I promise you this is going to make your life easier, especially if the toilet like this one is really low. This is the Kohler Height and Raised toilet seat, which I adore, and I've combined it with these flip-up armrests. It isn't 100% essential that you have armrests if you have a counter like this nearby to help stabilize. If you do not have a counter or a grab bar available to you, I would recommend having armrests for this reason. When you come up to the toilet, you're gonna want to be able to feel around because you can't twist to look for it. So you're gonna need to feel those armrests, come to a seat. And because my seat is higher to me, I don't have to go so far. The other tip I'd recommend in the bathroom is have a solution for wiping. For a lot of folks, wiping is a surprise as it is difficult to do without accidentally twisting. You want to make sure you use either a wiping aid, like an extended reach wiping aid. I'm going to put a few links down below of my favorite wiping aids, as well as a video that breaks down all the different types and kind of what to look for. Or a great solution for back surgery is a bidet. If you have a bidet on your toilet, and some raised seats have that option, it can really help. This toilet, I actually have mounted a handheld bidet, which will work with any raised toilet seat solution. So this just allows me to do a spray clean. I can do it from the front and I don't run that risk of twisting. So a bidet, a wiping aid, this raised seat and armrest, and you're off to the races. Our next round of tips are brought to you by the shower. Most people are really pumped for their first shower after surgery. With back surgery, it can be a little tricky. Definitely make sure you know whether you can wear or remove your surgical recovery bracing during showers. Some will, some won't. Confirm this with your surgeon. Now, this is the first thing you're going to want to do. You are going to need a seat. So I have just a standard shower seat here, and this is great if you have the capacity to step up and over your tub edge or you have a very low threshold shower. I am not having any leg involvement in this surgical recovery, so I could do just this. You may also need a tub transfer bench if you're concerned about stepping over the edge of the tub and making that a safe transfer. So one or the other, tub transfer bench or a shower chair. So now I'm going to get into the shower, and when you do this transfer, you really want to have something to stabilize on. You can use your wall. I'm facing again, avoiding that twisting motion. And now the reason I need my seat here is because this is when most surgeons will tell you you can take off your back brace, is in seated positions only. So that means if you want to shower without a back brace on, you got to have a seat. The next thing you're going to need is you're going to want to have a handheld shower head. Now the handheld shower head also needs to be mounted low so that you're not having to get up and down with your brace off, which has been deemed unsafe by most surgeons at this point. You need that shower head low so you can access it. It also helps you prevent getting too much water on surgical incisions, so you can kind of direct the water elsewhere. The third tip for the shower is invest in some long-handled tools, whether those are going to be for scrubbing lower body parts that you can't reach because, again, no bending, or to simply prevent twisting because you want to be able to get your back. This one bends so that I can get my upper back, any area that's exposed, I can gently wash. Also make sure that this one's made out of silicone. Any kind of brush system that you use, make sure it can be cleaned easily because there can be infection risk if you wash directly over those incisions. I also have this one, which I created, which is as a lotion applicator, but also works if you are in the situation where you have to leave your brace on while showering. This is common with like the tortoise shell braces, the solid braces. If you are in that situation and you have to wash under your brace, you can use something like this that has a really thin edge with a cover on it, and then you can reach down in between your skin and the brace like that to be able to get those itches in those areas gently scrubbed. You also might want to invest in things like a long-handled razor. If you're a female and want to be able to shave your legs, my recommendation is just let it grow while you are recovering. But if you would like to be able to do those things, there are tools that can extend your reach. Now for some tips on dressing. When it comes to dressing after back surgery, a few things are going to make your life so much easier. The first tip is pick your clothes wisely. Go with elastic waistbands, easy to pull up. You want things that are comfortable, loose but not too loose, especially in the shirt, because if you're wearing a brace over it, you actually want your shirts to be a little bit more on the fitted side. I like an athletic material that has some stretch to it. So it's not loose and causing a lot of bunching underneath your brace, but it's also not compressing you and making you feel uncomfortable. So pick your shirts wisely that are going to work well under your brace. All right, the next thing is the tools you're going to need. With no bending or twisting, a reacher is going to become your best friend. In fact, I recommend keeping a reacher on you at all times. One of my favorite things is to actually mount these to your walker with a piece of Velcro. So a reacher is going to be used for dressing and for retrieving clothing like your shoes. So you're going to be able to reach down low to grab your pants and get them over your feet. Trust me, this takes a little practice. If you have the opportunity to practice with a reacher for dressing initially, do it. The next thing you're gonna do with the reacher is you're gonna use it for shoes. My favorite shoes, and this goes back to recommending clothing, are something like a Kizik or other slip-on varieties. As you can see this one, you don't have to worry about the heel, you just pop your foot in. If that's not an option for you, you can modify your shoes by adding things like elastic laces and using a long-handled shoehorn to help guide your foot in. I don't recommend open back shoes as they're just not particularly safe and they're a trip hazard. So stick with the closed-toed or closed back shoes and go with something that's either a slip-on variety or that you can modify using elastic laces and the use of a long-handled shoehorn. And now for some sleep. So these tips are going to revolve around sleep and rest. And these tips are going to be a little bit nuanced because there's a lot of different restrictions around when and how you can remove a brace. I do have a video on how to remove your brace safely from the bed level, so make sure you know what your surgeon's recommendations are for this specifically. Now, for a lot of folks, they want to lay elevated, especially for upper back, thoracic related surgeries. Elevation can be a lot more comfortable, so having a good, reliable wedge that you can lay on. For many, you can actually remove the brace at this point and lay elevated, and so I'm going to be able to lay comfortably like this. Now, for others, you're going to want to lay flat. You can also use this wedge to help with getting your legs elevated if you're experiencing some swelling. But for another group, you're gonna have to be completely flat if you have your brace off. So I did wanna show some positioning for that as well. And the tip for that is have extra pillows around. I have a good thick pillow here, but I might even add a second pillow behind that. And then you also are gonna need a pillow between your knees for your log roll technique. Log roll technique is gonna be the best way to get in and out of bed. So the tip is extra pillows are gonna be essential. So I'm gonna lay flat here. I've got the pillow between my knees. The third tip here is to have something to grab onto on the side of the bed. You can have a bed rail here if you want, or this is even a lower cost, cheap solution. This is just a bed ladder that mounts to the underside of my frame. I've put it on the side of the bed so it can assist me as I come around, rolling up onto my side, swing my legs over, and come to a sit off the elbow. That's a safe, ooh, it got staticky. That is a safe way to get up and out of bed using a simple bed ladder. So there you have it, a bunch of tips and tricks that'll help you prepare for your upcoming back surgery, whether it's thoracic or lumbar. I hope you got some value out of this video. I would love to hear your comments down below. If you need more information like this on how to stay safe and independent in your home and community, consider subscribing to Equip Me OT. Thank you.